at the start of the project, we got the brief for control, and so I started messing around purely with Arduino and just setting up like LEDs and potentiometers and seeing what I could do purely without using Fermata. And then from there, I had like some basic issues with the Arduino and like uh, having like the circuit like shorting itself in the air. And then I started to look at like this idea of like an infinite loop using like fractals and displacement, and the idea of how you can do the same thing in a sound with Shepherd tone, and how having escalating scales fading in and out can create a sound which seems to be going on infinitely up and up and creating this idea of anticipation. So then I started carrying on with like graphical aspects, and so I used Fermata in processing and started creating like potentiometer related sketches which reacted to the input from Arduino sensors. And then from this, I started to realize how I could create anticipation with user input. And so I created more complex visuals and was trying to overlay them on top of each other using like the idea of like a central focus with ideas coming outwards from this, like to draw the user into the middle and make them anticipate something deeper. But the whole point of my idea really was to avoid ever actually giving the user a real progress. Once I decided on what I was going to make, I laser cut the box, which would have two potentiometers, a slider, and four switches, which would all make the code change in different visual ways. I wanted to make the MDF masked by a pattern, so I printed like a pattern from the previous project, which would basically mask the MDF and make the box look more foreign. It's almost like an alien object, which you don't really understand how to use. And so the layout of the box when you're trying to use it often misleads you at first, and you don't understand how your input is affecting it. And then you realize that it's sort of skewed, and sliders do stuff that you'd expect like a potentiometer to do, and switches like have operations which appear not to work with out potentiometers, and then you suddenly switch the potentiometer and they do loads of things.